It's jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the
So I woke up this morning feeling pretty good. Christmas morning, it's a nice way to wake up. Got up, opened some presents, was very pleased with my partner, with my kitties. That was fun, nice music, holiday music. It was good. It felt really good. And one of the thoughts that came to me just spontaneously is, well, first of all, this is my 8th day of vlogging, and there was so much internal pressure to start that I just started. I don't know, December 18th, 19th, 17th, something like that. And because I literally could not wait one more single day to begin. So I couldn't pick like, oh, I'll start Christmas, I'll start New Year's. I couldn't wait. I knew it was the next part of my recovery, and it is. And so now that I've done a full week of that, I think I'm feeling something new emerge. Is what if I put my recovery first, no matter what, for a year? And for anyone who's been in recovery for substance use, this will be a very familiar concept, particularly with true addiction. Or any 12-step program based on substances. The idea that anything you put ahead of your recovery, you'll lose. So if you put your job ahead of your recovery, you might lose your job. If you put your family ahead of your recovery, you might lose your family. Even though it feels like, particularly with those two things, like the responsible, it feels like the right thing to do. And a lot of times, not always, but enough, people with substance use issues have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility. And so they will drive themselves kind of crazy, putting everyone else's needs first, or their job, in a way where it's not good for them and they can't handle it. Hence all the substance use. And then over time, the substance use itself becomes the primary issue. And so this idea of putting recovery first when you've finally arrived to being in recovery is a powerful one and a well-known one for recovery in general. And I would argue that for mental health recovery, the same principle applies. The consequences may not seem as dire as true addiction, but I'm not even really sure that's true, because a lot of time, if you've received residential treatment, it's not less dire than true addiction, because for people in residential treatment, suicidal ideation is a huge issue for mental health primary treatment. So I don't actually think it is less important in mental health recovery than in true addiction recovery. And that's certainly the case for me. It's my inner 5-year-old was manically suicidal. You could not possibly be more suicidal because of inescapable danger. I wanted out. And so this idea of, woodpecker, another bird from my childhood, I love it. Love that. So this idea of, what if I put my recovery first? And actually, the thing is, part of this commitment to 30 days of vlogging was that. It wasn't in as explicit form, but I could tell it's the next thing I needed to do. So when I made a commitment, I'll do this every day for a month. Yeah, it's of benefit to any viewers I might gain to be consistent. And YouTube rewards posting consistently. So there was some exterior, outside of myself, reasons to doing that. But it was mostly an interior one. I knew that if I put this first, I'd be putting my recovery first. Now there's this feeling of, well, let's make it a year. Let's not tie it explicitly to vlogging, but let's just put my recovery first, no matter what, for a year. As is true with many people, I have lots of other obligations. I have financial pressures, which require my attention. I have 2 major relationships that are very important to me that require attention. And I both need and want to put my recovery first. And also, I know that whatever attention I might turn to finances, to relationships, to my job, when I'm not putting recovery first, it's going to be kind of mediocre attention. And it could put me into a pretty bad state. And I have evidence for this. I've done that before. I've done that before a lot. And it doesn't work. And I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm not going to. Oh. See, and that sound, that breath and that sound means, yeah, that's what I really want. That's what my body wants. That's what my inner child, my inner 5-year-old wants. Let's put recovery first, which for me, in so many ways, just means let's put feeling safe first. Oh God, and even just saying that, again, my body just relaxes. And something that a lot of people don't know is that when you're in fight or flight and you're trying to down-regulate back into rest and digest, yawning is a very visible sign that your nervous system is down-regulating. So it's not just a sleepy thing. It's one visible sign of your nervous system being like, I want to calm down. I'm coming down. This is good. And like my primary therapist for years, when I'm in a session with her and I yawn, and sometimes it's a big freaking yawn, she'll almost always say good yawn or good breath if I take a nice big deep breath, because that's also a good sign. Both the deep breaths and the yawns, let alone if they happen at the same time, you are calming down. So whatever you're talking about, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, go that direction. That is a health-oriented, safety-oriented direction. Keep doing that. So I was talking about, let's put recovery first for a year. And my whole body's just like, yeah, baby. Yeah, let's do that. Because guess what? I am terrible at addressing financial things or working with numbers when I'm in a state of fucking terror. I'm terrible at it. So by putting my recovery first, I'm actually putting myself in a state where I'm much better equipped to actually do the things I need to do. And the thing is, this won't be different with recovering from substance use. It's the same principle. You put your recovery first, and if it's for substances, putting your sobriety first. Although I think focusing only on the chemical, even if that's necessary but not sufficient for recovery, I think that's stay chemically sober first, but that's only one part of, for me, sobriety. If you're not doing any inner work, inner sobriety, the chemical recovery often isn't sufficient. And you'll go back to using eventually, which is not funny. So I don't know why I chuckled. It's because, I don't know, it's a scary topic. And same thing with relationships. If I'm just stuck in that thought pattern of what do I need to do there? What should I do there? Without putting my own emotional health, emotional sobriety first, it's not going to be very good for me in those relationships is not going to be very good for them. So the person I am in recovery is so much better for me and for them. In whatever work I want to do. For Ken, for Integral Institute, for this vlog, because this is work of a sort. I really enjoy it. It's creative work. It's still work. All that's better when I put my recovery first. So it's really interesting thinking about Christmas and the idea of receiving gifts on Christmas. And it's just fascinating to me that I just sort of woke up with this idea of, what if I put recovery first for a year? Just spontaneously. And it makes me think that my subconscious, my unconscious, my inner child, it's like, what if we gave ourselves what we most deeply want anyway? What if we gave ourselves permission to give ourselves what we most deeply want anyway? The gift of safety. The gift of putting yourself first. Which you're supposed to do as a human being. You need to learn how to, as a child, you have to put yourself first. And if you've been abused, you don't know that. You think exactly the opposite. You think you're terrible, evil, demonic, the worst thing to have ever existed. So the idea of, I can put my emotional and physical safety and health first as a day-to-day, moment-to-moment reality. I'm going to do that for a year. Just as a promise. It's just an extraordinary feeling. God, that feels amazing. Merry Christmas to me. Apparently that's the gift I wanted to give myself. I get to come first in my own life, basically for the first time ever. Oh my God. You are a plump squirrel. You have not been suffering. Hey, Squirrely. Hi. How's it going? How's it going? Merry Christmas, Squirrely. Oh, aren't you cute? If you're watching this video, if you've been watching these videos, maybe you have some kind of interest in recovery. So, what is the gift you could give yourself this Christmas? Or this New Year's, whenever. What's the gift you could give yourself that you, in fact, most deeply want? And so people can feel locked into addiction. They can feel that there's no way out. But nobody wants, at the deepest level, to be addicted. Can you find that part of yourself that wants recovery, that wants sobriety, if that's what you're dealing with? And if that isn't what you're dealing with, whoever you are, whether you're in recovery or not, and as I've said before, recovery's for everybody. If you have a wound or a series of wounds regarding almost anything, or an injury, whatever it might be, emotional, physical, cultural, societal, recovery's for everybody. What do you most deeply want? And what is that gift you can give to yourself? I think that's a pretty good Christmas message for me. And for everyone looking to recover. Thanks, y'all. Love being here with you. Merry Christmas.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near.